For a Springfield band, comics are more than a hobby. They're a career. KY3's Jay Scherder spoke to the local artist who's had a bumpy road getting there, but he persevered, Jay, and he's there now. Tell us about him.
Well, Paul, Gary Kissel has been an Army medic, an EMT, even a movie critic, but it wasn't until just recently that his true passion started picking up.
His face in the movie, in fact, there's a photo of him from the inside cover, and there's my name.
Knowing what you want to do when you grow up is a very tough question, but for Gary Kissel, the answer was right in front of him.
I've been able to draw since I was a kid, and I love telling stories.
Being artistic sort of runs in the family.
Both my parents were artists. All my siblings were artistic. In fact, my brother's a very gifted designer.
Gary's career has had many crazy turns along the way before becoming an illustrator of comic books. From EMT to movie critic, even designing billboards for a marketing company in Springfield.
Really, it was just a way of keeping food on the table.
One of the more interesting turns, though, the Army.
I went in just before the Gulf War, first Gulf War, and I was 26 years old.
He left a perfectly good job and career being the lone artist for a major marketing magazine.
I did a Bill Murray from Stripes, and I signed up in the Army, and they're like, "You're walking away from a career in art to go be an..." I'm like, yeah, I don't know why.
It was in the Army, though, where Gary found a lot of inspiration, including his drill sergeant.
I did a caricature of him. I mean, it was a really mean one, and I can't tell you what it is because it was really crude.
It was his experience in the armed forces years ago that helps him create art today. He's working on a top-secret project for EA Games' comic division. He couldn't tell us about that just yet, but he could tell us about his latest work, the new A-Team comic.
They're in the local comic book shop. We were over there the other day, and I saw some.
His oldest son is following in his father's footsteps, working on a comic based on the characters from The Wizard of Oz.
She's the product of being raised by a single dad and around a bunch of guys.
And his daughter Zoe looks to be heading in that direction too, at just 11 years old.
Now, we told you a little bit about Gary's drill sergeant, and he drew a caricature of him. Well, he actually got called into the drill sergeant's office. He thought he was going to get reamed for it. Turns out the drill sergeant actually just wanted him to paint a picture of his family and then send it back over from the Gulf. So it was a situation that he thought he was going to be in a lot of trouble. Turns out it was actually no big deal.
Depending on the personality, he could have been in a lot of trouble there.
Exactly.
I understand there is somebody famous involved in this project.
He does. He has a company called Charlie Foxtrot Films, which is completely owned by veterans. One of the guys is a man by the name of Dale Dye. Now, a lot of you may not recognize that name, but a lot of people know about the movie Platoon.
Yeah.
He actually wrote the book about Platoon, and he's been in numerous movies, including Saving Private Ryan, the Band of Brothers series, and the new Pacific series. So, quite a big deal.
We'll be looking for their work.